And we are set to go live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Alien Investigations. As always, I'm your host, Steven, and we're doing a game. So let me try again. So we are not actually going to be playing X-Files CCG like we normally do on this channel. We're actually going to be playing something a little bit different, a spiritual successor to the X-Files collectible card game, if you will. But before we get into that, let me first introduce my opponent for this evening's matchup, Mr. David Peace, host of Studio Sequim up there in Washington State. David, thank you for joining me this evening. How are we doing?
Always a pleasure to be here, to be a guest on your channel. Thank you very much for the invite and for suggesting that we play this game. If you hadn't mentioned it, I probably never would have heard of it. But there is a bit of an X-Files connection, which is why it's on the Alien Investigations channel. So I'm very excited to play this game and kind of see how they translated it. There's a whole story behind it. But I'm going to save that either for you or an expert that may otherwise join the show later. But
no, sorry, my camera just started cutting out there. My Wi-Fi, I do have to apologize for anyone who's watching this live. My Wi-Fi is pretty bad, but thankfully I did live recording on StreamYard, so the edited version will hopefully look a lot better. Nevertheless, so yes, as I said, we normally so as I said, this channel is dedicated to the X-Files collectible card game, but as I previously said, this game is actually incorporates. So this game, the Scooby-Doo Expandable Card Game, actually incorporates a lot of the rules, mechanics of the X-Files collectible card game. It was actually developed by some of the staff who did work on the X-Files collectible card game when it was in production from 1996 to 1998 when it was discontinued, including Mr. David May, as well as Brian Woodward, who is actually the co-developer of this game, along with Todd Breitenstein, who went on to create the well-known Zombies franchise that you might have played. It's a Twilight Creations product. But it was so yeah, Brian Woodward is the co-developer for this game, and he was also one of the playtesters and staff on hand for the X-Files collectible card game as well. So there was a bit of carryover from the X-Files collectible card game to the Scooby-Doo Expandable Card Game, and this game did not really enjoy a long release period. It was I don't think it was in stores very long at all, if my memory serves. Is that right, David?
yeah, this was there was the base game, the 2-player starter, and then the boosters that came with that, and then there was one expansion, Alien Encounters or Alien Invasion or something. I can't remember the exact name. I was hoping it was Alien Investigations, but it wasn't.
That would have been too fortuitous.
Yeah, it was just the base and the first expansion, and I refreshed my memory. The idea with this was to be more in big box stores rather than a hobby thing.
Yes.
So that probably didn't help a lot. But I'm certainly not a marketing expert, so I can't speculate as to why things didn't go the way they wanted. But nevertheless, we're here now and we're playing it and we're bringing it back.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo expandable card game was developed by Journeyman Press, it was developed by Journeyman Press and distributed by the United States Playing Card Company, which also distributed the X-Files collectible card game in the year 2000. And I do know that towards the end of the X-Files CCG's run, that there was a lot of push for the X-Files collectible card game to be simplified and watered down. And looking at the unfinished third edition that Mike and I had uncovered in the course of our interview with Lynette Schmidt, the former graphic designer, we did find that the planned third edition had a lot of watered down effects for the existing X-Files cards, and that obviously never came to fruition. And so a couple of years later, when Journeyman Press was formed, I think, and it would be nice to have Brian Woodward on someday to maybe clarify some of the history of it, that the idea for simplifying the X-Files card game sort of dovetailed into the creation of this card game, which again has a lot of the same mechanics and rules as the X-Files CCG, but it's a lot more simplified. There's fewer card types to deal with. There's not really any skills. There's not a long list of skills that you're dealing with regards to the teams that we have here. But yeah, it does seem like it's operating in a more of a kid-friendly capacity compared to the X-Files CCG. And I think by simplifying the game, it would thus make it so that a game such as this could be made available in such stores as like Toys R Us, where you wouldn't be able to sell the X-Files collectible card game because it's too much of an intricate game to have on the shelves at, say, Toys R Us, because it's something that it's too complex for, I think, for younger kids. So this, I think, was the answer to that. And again, maybe someday, and we can have David May, Brian Woodward expand upon that a little bit for us. They are very much within reach, so we can always get some clarification on that for them. And you can actually find an interview that Mike and Matt did a couple of years ago with Brian Woodward regarding the Scooby-Doo card game, or the Scooby-Doo Expandable Card Game. So you can find that over on Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG channel. It's there, and it's a really fun episode where they did interview Brian. I probably should have just watched that episode in leading up to this, so that maybe it would have had a little bit more of that backstory to go on leading into this game. But yes, so David and I are going to be playing the Scooby-Doo Expandable Card Game, which what I have here is the starter deck for the game, which you can find on eBay for very reasonable price. And this has exactly what you need in order to play the game. So unlike the X-Files collectible card game, you don't need to have a couple of starters and a score of booster packs in order to assemble a finely tuned. And I think I cut out there for a second. David, am I back?
You're back, yes.
Okay, thanks. I do apologize because, again, my Wi-Fi is crapping out tonight. So nevertheless, you can play this game with just what's within the base starter deck here. But there are booster packs available, which will have those rare cards like foil cards and stuff like that you won't get with the base starter deck. So you can have the option of adding boosters to the existing deck if you feel so inclined. David, by any chance, are you using any booster pack cards from David, are you using any cards from booster packs in your deck, or are you just going with the base starter deck?
This is strictly the starter deck. I do have some cards in my collection, but it chose to kind of keep it simple, so it may not be the tournament level competition here tonight, but I trust that the starter deck was constructed to at least give you a little bit of a challenge. We'll have some fun with it. This is our first time playing, so I didn't want to get too strategic, and I just wanted to kind of get together and have some fun and make sure we get the game mechanics together. So yeah, very simple, straight out of the starter deck, or the starter kit, is how I'm dealing with tonight's game.
Excellent. And I think in the time that the short time I've been collecting this card game, I did have I think I've acquired about 4 booster packs, of which I did include all of them in this, just to see what would come up. I obviously I have no sense of what would constitute a finely tuned deck I mean, we're definitely outside of the comfort zone of X-Files CCG, so this is going to be a learning experience for David and myself. And when we revisit this game in future matchups, we'll maybe have a better sense of what we need to include and what we need to exclude from our decks as we go about playing a few more games. But this is the inaugural game for David and myself. We have not played this previously, so you may find that we're going to be referring to the rule book as we progress through the game, but hopefully not too much, because again, this is a watered down version of X-Files CCG, so we ideally should not run into too many ambiguous instances in which we're unsure how to interpret card effects. The game effects on these cards are generally pretty straightforward and easy to follow, so it should be a pretty smooth game, I anticipate. David, before we get into the game itself, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the playmats, most notably yours, because mine was very hastily crafted, but you went to exceptional lengths to craft the playmat that you are using for tonight's matchup. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, thank you for acknowledging that. And I'm going to set these to the side for just a second so we can kind of see what we're dealing with. When I first got the starter kit, I kind of had a flash of inspiration. I grew up with Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Reruns, and that was a lot of what I did when I was a kid, was just watch a lot of TV. And so when this came up, and you suggested, hey, if you wanted to play this, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah. So I got the starter kit and I was looking through. Oh, I remember this episode. I remember this episode too. So I kind of had a flash of inspiration, and as a bit of an art background, not to a professional level, but more than the average person. So I decided, what, rather than trying to put one together and pay a ton of money to have it printed professionally, I'm just going to give it a shot and see what I can pull off. And so I put it together on my computer screen, just grabbing little clips here and there, and to just kind of flesh it out. And then I ended up drawing it myself with just pencil wireframe, and then colored it in with colored pencil. And these spots where the cards go, I did print those on the computer. Got some sticker paper and printed them on stickers and slapped them on here. One, to save time, and two, it was pretty small detail, and I didn't want to get in the weeds drawing little tiny things. But I just took a scene from the beginning of the cartoon there with the haunted mansion, and everybody knows the malt shop. You can see it behind me here too. But that was kind of the opening scene whenever they introduced the Scooby Gang Mystery Incorporated. It would typically start with an exterior shot of the malt shop. So I figured, and in the instructions it describes that as part of the gameplay area. So yeah, I just kind of took it from there and drew it. And then for the Scooby snacks, I found this picture of a very full and satisfied Scooby-Doo there, and threw him in there. And then I did make this Scooby snacks box. You can kind of hear it rattling around. Let me see if I can get it up here. No, the virtual background's not going to let me do it, but you can see I just printed out a little Scooby snack box and took a little 60 card deck thing that I had sitting around from my Pokemon days and skinned it with this. And then, yes, I went to the grocery store and bought little pinto beans and painted them brown. So I've got my little physical Scooby snacks here that I can play with. I think if I keep them in the white area of the thing here, that you'll be able to count them without too much trouble and keep me honest. But so that's kind of where that came from. And if you go to my Facebook page or even to my YouTube channel, I've got some pictures of the various stages. I took pictures of it while I was making it, so you can see the penciled out version and the model I was using on my computer screen behind it, and the various stages of being colored in and stuff. And Madeline, thank you very much for those compliments. I appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, I grew up on Scooby-Doo, so when I saw the game and I read through and all the nostalgia came over me, I was like, you know what, this would be kind of a fun thing to do. And it kind of surprised myself, if I may be honest. But yeah, it turned out exactly as I had it planned in my head.
Excellent.
But,
And it really does look fantastic. And I did see some of those images you were talking about of the early conceptions of it, and it looked like something like what an architect might have like in their, like when they develop their plans for buildings and stuff like that. That is what it looked like, or that's what I thought of when I saw those pictures. Because yeah, it looked like you were going to exceptional lengths to create what you see there, and you did actually it's laminated and all that, right? Because you had it.
It is not. I penciled it in. This is all just like that 1/4-inch foam core, like you would get at any art supply place, or something like that, like a kid would use for a diorama or something like that. So it's kind of in its raw form. So I have to be very careful not to spill any drinks or accidentally draw on it.
And heaven forbid if Persephone should decide to hop up on the table in the course of the game, which she usually does in almost every game we play.
It would be just like her to come and just plant her butt right in the middle of the board. But I may put the nix on that one. As cute as she is, this is still pretty fragile as it sits. So enough about that. I'm very curious about yours. You've used some iconic pictures from the show as well, I see.
Yeah, and really, I won't go into too much about putting this together, because it really was hastily assembled through Canva. Just a matter of grabbing a couple of images online and putting them into what more or less would constitute a serviceable mat. It was very hastily assembled, and I think and over time I may refine it a little bit before I decide to actually have submit it to, or not submit it, to purchase a playmat version of it, where you can go and get those customizable playmats online, like yourplaymat.com, for instance. I'm not ready to spend the money on having a playmat made for this just yet. If anything, you'll probably see a custom playmat for the X-Files card game before you see one for this. At least, again, one that's made through one of those online sites. But you and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 have come up with some pretty respectable playmats for your X-File card game, for your games. So I do commend you guys on that. You guys have some pretty cool ones. I think we'll get, since this game is going to be not just you and me, David, but also for the viewers. We'll talk a little bit about what we're supposed to do for this game. Let's start with the objective first and foremost. So much like the X-Files collectible card game, there is a face down card, a mystery card, and mine is positioned here. And where's yours, David?
Right up here at the top.
Excellent. So this mystery card is one of 15 possible cards. And much like the X-Files collectible card game, where you have to be the first to identify your opponent's hidden X-File, much in the same vein, whoever is first to identify their opponent's mystery card will be declared the winner. So there's only... I may have lost David there for a second. So it comes back.
Hello.
There you are. Welcome back. So
good to be here.
Yeah, in the case of the X-Files collectible card game, there's 41 possible X-Files, but for the Scooby-Doo Expandable Card Game, there's only 15. Whether that means the games will go faster than X-Files CCG, well, we'll find out. But this is a first foray after all. So the mystery card is placed here, in the case of my playmat. So you got your mystery card. Now, this other pile that David and I each have is our clue pile, and the clue pile consists of those 15 cards, and through the course of each successful round in which we're able to investigate the location cards, which again is very much in the spirit of the X-Files collectible card game, in which you're investigating sites, we'll be able to eliminate the possibilities for what our opponent's mystery card is by removing the clue cards as we go. So it's a process of elimination. And much like the X-Files collectible card game, when you successfully investigate a location card, you are able to take a guess at what your opponent's mystery card is. But of course, if you guess incorrectly, then there is a bit of a penalty. But it's what is the penalty? Do you recall what it is? It's not actually like you get to, or is it you get to ask?
You don't ask. I think you have to reveal one of the clue cards as a penalty.
You get to remove a clue card from the pile, so that gets you one closer to. It's like basically take an identity question. So you get to remove one clue card from the pile. So when you basically you have all the clue cards whittled down to just one. That's pretty much game at that point, because you have identified which mystery episode your opponent has selected there. And much like the X-Files collectible card game, there is a checklist which is provided with the base starter set that lists the 15 possible mystery episodes. And so once again, for every clue card that you remove, you can scratch that off of the checklist, and as you're trying to whittle it down to just one mystery episode. So that's the name of the game right there. Now, you're much like the X-Files collectible card game, you're also going to be working with a team of, unlike a team of, not agent cards, but this is the Mystery Incorporated team that we have in front of us, the Mystery Incorporated members, of which is Freddy, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby. And each of them has only really one skill, as opposed to the assorted ones you'll find on the agent cards, and that is a bravery skill, which you'll see is, like in Fred's case, is -3, Daphne's is -1, Velma's is -3, etc. You'll apply that negative number to the fright level that's listed on the location card that you're trying to investigate. So during each round in which you're taking on the role of the mystery team, the Mystery Incorporated team, you're going to try to get the fright level of that location card down to 0 in order to be able to remove 1, 2, or 3 clue cards from the pile in order to narrow down what the opponent's hidden mystery card is supposed to be. And David, we are also working with a play deck, which is basically the X-Files CCG's equivalent of a bureau deck, which, again, you can refine as you play the game more frequently, and you can figure out what you're going to be including and excluding in the set. You need to have a minimum of 60 cards in the set, just like the X-Files CCG. I did include a few booster packs in here too, so I'm working with a taller play deck than David is, but we might see a nice variety of cards come into play throughout the course of the game. And lastly, you're going to have a discard pile set aside for the cards the item cards, the event cards, and the monster cards that get used as well. So again, a lot of the components of this game very similar to the X-Files CCG. So if you played the X-Files CCG, you're familiar with a lot of the flow of the game. You'll start off. One of us will start off as the Mystery Incorporated. One of us will start off as the Mystery Incorporated player, and the other one will start off as the villain player, in which they'll be attempting to thwart the mystery team's efforts to investigate that location. What did I leave out, David? What other things have I forgot to mention?
Did we talk about items and how the villains affect the fright?
Yes. So
value.
That's good to bring up. So while the Mystery Incorporated team is going to be subtracting from the location's fright level, the villain player will have the option to play monster cards or event cards, or that will be able to raise the fright level. So the idea is to get the fright level to 0 in order to be able to remove 1 or 2 or 3 clue cards from the pile. So the Mystery Incorporated team's trying to lower the fright level, and the monsters and whatnot will be trying to raise it to keep it up to keep it from getting to 0 at the end of each investigation. And so the investigation ends when each player opts to pass, that they're not able to do any further action, and they both have to pass on performing any action, and at that point, investigation ends. And at that point, if the fright level is at 0, great for the Mystery Incorporated team. If it's not, then good for the villain player. And much like the X-Files CCG, in order to play cards, we will have to pay for them using a resource pool of Scooby snacks. And you can use, like the X-Files collectible card game, you can use pennies, you can use beads. The base starter set comes with a few that you can use. And you can, if you're playing face-to-face with someone, you can share them. Otherwise, yeah, as David has, that's what they look like, because I don't actually have them in front of me. So thanks for showing that, David. Those are the Scooby snacks that are included in the base starter set. I'm just going to use some beans for mine. I'm taking a page out of Dave Meyer's book, if he's watching. So, all right. So I think that pretty much covers it, and we can explain more as we're progressing through each of the phases or rounds. There's not too many phases in each round. Actually, it's very minimalist compared to X-Files CCG, so this should go pretty quickly.
And,
go ahead.
Even looking at the score sheet, I see that each sheet has space for 8 games. I'm assuming that means they figure these games will go pretty quick, and people might even play like best 2 out of 3 or however. But yeah, that's a lot of playing. But if someone has a rather a shrewd deck in front of them, they'll be playing a lot of minor locations, which if you do it successfully, you get to reveal 3 cards. When you're only dealing with 14, it's going to go pretty quick. So we'll see how it goes.
And I made a point of getting mine laminated so that I could just reuse it every time, much like my X-Files CCG checklist, because I didn't want to wind up having to throw away checklists, in waste paper. So yeah, I had it laminated. So this will be just one that I can just reuse over time. And who knows, maybe we can get someone like Joost to make a website dedicated to it, so we can have some more augmented games somewhere down the line.
So, dare to dream. Let's hope this game takes off. And
exactly right. So maybe this will be the start of a revival for this game as well. We'll see. It is a very popular show. Like you, David, I watched it a lot when I was a kid, and it's a show that will will forever stay in the memories of us, as we get older, and we'll look back at our child years, and this will be one of those shows that, certainly holds a special place in our hearts. So I think the only thing that we need to do is, so in order to start the game, you're going to set aside your malt shop. That's where your team is going to start, is in the malt shop, much like every episode of the show, where it opens with the malt shop. So that's where your 5 Mystery Incorporated members are going to begin. You'll have your location area out here where you can move your Mystery Incorporated cards once per round. You can move them much like the X-Files CCG. You can deploy them once. So you got your location area, you got your malt shop, you got your mystery card, you got your clue card pile, and you got your play deck and your discard pile, and as well as assorted Scooby snacks. So I think that's pretty much covers the setup for this game. Hopefully we're doing a faithful job of conveying that to anyone who's watching. The last thing we need to do, David, I think, is to decide which of us is going first. And so much in the spirit of how we determine who goes first in the X-Files CCG, I'm going to put one of these Scooby snacks in my hand, and you just pick which hand you think it is, and if you guess correctly, then you will be starting off as the Mystery Incorporated player first. Sound good?
That sounds good. Let's do this. I'm going to pick
the Scooby snack.
I think it is in your right hand.
My right hand. And you would be correct, sir. You can't really see it, but yes, The Scooby snack is in my right hand. So David will be taking on the role of the Mystery Incorporated player for the first round. I will be playing the villain for this first round, and then we'll alternate at the end of each round. So we'll begin the game by drawing up to 8 cards, and that's going to start the game. And because David is starting off as the Mystery Incorporated player, he's going to begin with 10 Scooby snacks in his pool, and the villain player is only going to begin with 7 Scooby snacks in their pool.
I wonder, sir, if you would be so kind as to allow me to reshuffle my deck, because these are all locations. So clearly I did not do a good job. This came right out of the box. I just took the band off of it minutes before we started. I didn't even sleeve them as I should. So I'm going to very quickly on camera here. You can see how stiff they are because they're brand new like this. Oh.
Yeah.
Don't damage these, David. Come on.
I think I spent about an hour shuffling it because I really didn't want to. I didn't want to mess up the cards too much by doing the shuffling like that. But while you're doing that, I do want to acknowledge us. We do have a few viewers tuning in, and I do appreciate anyone who's watching this live, because not only has my Wi-Fi been crapping out since we started, but also because I really did not publicize, or I did not promote this episode too much. I really only think I gave it like a day's notice, so I wasn't expecting to have too many people in our midst. But nevertheless, we do have Madeline, my most faithful viewer. Madeline, I'm always happy to see you there, providing some commentary for us. And thank you for the positive comment regarding my playmat there. It's again, it really was hastily assembled, and I hope to refine it later on when I have the chance. Jonathan 𝐗 from Kentucky, we also have you in our midst. Jonathan was also one who grew up watching this game, or I'm sorry, watching this show when he was a kid. It's very much it's very much one of those seminal shows that really was a cornerstone for a lot of us kids watching TV back in the show's heyday. If anyone else is tuning into this live, feel free to throw some comments in the live chat. You can ask us about the game. We'll do our best to answer, because as David and I previously stated, this is our first effort playing this game. So hopefully we will do it justice. I really do hope we'll give this game a good showing that will interest others to want to pursue this game. And again, you can find the base starter decks on eBay. And I think they go for pretty cheap, like what, $10-15 perhaps.
I've been kind of trolling before the game for the last day or two in anticipation of this, and you can find them. I mean, some unscrupulous people are charging like $19 or $20. You don't have to pay that, at least not as of this recording. I know we're going to bring it back and it's going to be super popular, but right now, if you're a shrewd eBay troll, you could find it for like $10 or $12. And it's a 2-player kit, so you're going to get everything. Like you said earlier, Stephen, you're going to get everything you need: Scooby snacks, the checklist, the starter booklet, such as it is. You'll get everything you need, except for these super cool play mats that Stephen and I made because we're super fans. But the entry cost for this is still a great price. The boosters are kind of tough to find these days, and you can see when you look at the wrappers that they've kind of faded a little bit. I don't know why those more so than others, but the boosters are kind of showing their age, but they're out there. You'll find them, and there are collectors that are occasionally giving up their collection. And you can bolster your thing. But since Madeline is here, I do have to point out that she is in possession of a 2-player starter kit and a couple booster packs. I know this because I sent them to her, so I'm hoping that this inspires her to to play a game, at least locally with you, hopefully on either of our channels later on. So Madeline, shout out to you. Jonathan, thanks for showing up. I'm hoping you will invest in this too, because I want to play against you. And instead of the X-Files on the TV in the background, we'll have Scooby-Doo episodes playing on the TV in the background. So I'm calling you out, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm sure Jonathan has the Scooby-Doo complete set at home. And yes, yeah, Madeline, I hope you and I will take up a game at some point too of this, because you have the 2-player starter kit in your possession. And yeah, we've pretty much got everything we need. Yeah, and I do want to agree with David. Every booster pack that I've acquired looks like it has been sitting out in the sun for about as many years as this game has been around. But the booster pack, the starter decks look pristine. But yeah, those booster packs are sun faded to the point you can't even tell which characters you're looking at on the front of the.
You're looking at kind of the outline, of it. But that having been said, the booster packs that I've opened, the cards are still in good condition. So don't let that put you off. The wrapper, who knows what the printing quality was at the time, or the ink that they used. Maybe they were cut corners, whatever. It doesn't matter. The cards inside are still in good shape, so you don't need to worry about that.
And I would definitely recommend seeking out some of the booster packs, because you'll have a chance of finding some of those rare cards, specifically the foil cards for the Mystery Incorporated team, of which, if you look real close, I do have the foil cards for each.
Here's Steven flexing. He's flexing.
Yeah. I'm flexing my full Mystery Incorporated team here. But I do want to thank Mike Perrine. If you're watching, Mike, I do have you to thank for this, because I won this as a contest, a trivia contest on Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG, which I think I had to answer like a certain number of questions regarding the first season of Scooby-Doo in a timely fashion. So I was able to get all the answers correct just in time to win all the foils for the Mystery Incorporated team, which I believe Mike acquired through Brian Woodward, who again is the co-developer of this game. Brian, I do want to thank you. If you watch this, I want to thank you for creating this for this game, which we're about to embark on. So, David, you have firmly shuffled your deck, and we have drawn our 8 cards. And I think, sir, you are ready to go. So you are the Mystery Incorporated player for this first round. Take it away.
Yes, sir. I am going to start with the Funland site. This is a master location, and the fright level is 10. And I assume I moved my Mystery Incorporated just right to that site. It's not like we have to do anything really.
Well, so for each action, when you for each action, like you do, when you do an action, then the villain will have a chance to do an action, and then you'll have a chance to do an action, and so forth, until both of us pass. So at this point, as a villain player, I can put a monster down, and then for your next action, you'll be able to move your team up there. You can move all of them or just a few of them, depending on how you want to proceed. So now that David has placed his location card, and that counts as an action. So at this point, I'll have a chance to put down either a monster card or an event card, or maybe an item card too. I guess an item card would count towards that, right?
If it's got a negative number, you can.
Or no, a positive number, right?
A positive number, yes. Yeah. I had that reversed.
It's weird that we're working with negative numbers, where negative numbers is a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to play the Black Knight on the location card there. So that is going to add 4 to the fright level, so that's going to take it up to 14, yes?
Correct, yeah. And how much is the cost for that?
That is 4, so I'm going to take 4 from my 7 Scooby snacks, and that'll leave me with 3. So the Black Knight raises the fright level of a location by 4 while in play. So now it goes back to you, David, so you can decide how you want to proceed.
I don't have anything that's going to counter that. The team adds up to Mystery Incorporated team adds up to 10, which means I just barely, just make it, and I don't have anything that's going to offset 4.
Okay.
So
Do
I'm not
you-
even going to bother going to the site,
Okay.
and I might just leave it out there in the field.
Okay. You can move your team once per turn, so yeah, you could decide if you want to move them up there. But I think there are going to be like move cards where like a member is forced back to the malt shop, courtesy of a game effect. So you're going to pass. So that means you're going to pass.
I pass. Yep.
Okay, and barring that, I won't need to play any further cards at this point. And so, with both of us passing, that's going to proceed to the end of the turn. Now, unlike the X-Files CCG, in which a failed investigation results in the site card being discarded, in the case of the Scooby-Doo ECG, the location card can remain in play, and David will have the option to investigate it again in a subsequent round. It's only when the location card is successfully investigated that he will not have the option of investigating it again. And as you noted earlier, David noted that this was a master location.
Correct.
There are 3 location types for the location cards: major, master, and minor, in which the minor cards, you have to have the corresponding master or major card in play in order to play the minor location, which is going to result in you getting to remove more clue cards from the pile. So the minor cards will get you closer to identifying your opponent's mystery card as a result, but there's a little bit of having to work your way to get to that minor card in order to get it down on the mat.
Yeah, a little bit. That would be the prerequisite, I guess, if you were to put it in X-Files CCG terms. Is you can't play those big reward locations. You have to build up to. You have to earn it over the course of a turn or two. So hopefully, I'm laying a groundwork for something like that. But yeah, currently, I just kind of have to let this one go.
Now, does the Black Knight, I do have a question, does the Black Knight remain?
I believe the Black Knight now gets discarded.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Well, don't just take my word for it, but I thought I read that earlier as we were browsing through here that villain, unless they state something different, villain and item cards go away after the turn is over.
That would make more sense.
And there are cards that stay in play. I think it was quick to say that as well, unless the card says otherwise. They do stay in play until the end of the turn, with the exception of event cards, which are play and then discard.
So the event cards are discarded. So the villain ones would remain?
The villain and item remains until the end of the turn.
Okay, so the Black Knight will get sent to the discard pile
now that the turn is over, yeah.
Okay, and so the other thing we'll need to do before we pass it back to me is we'll need to decide if we want to part with any of the cards in our hand, much like the debriefing phase in the X-Files CCG, in which we'll be able to draw up to 8 when we enter the next round. So you may decide that there are some cards in your hand that you don't want to hold on to going into the next round. And so currently at this point, I have 7. And so once again, I'll be able to draw up to 8 when we go to the next, when it passes over to me. So I think, not having a real strong sense of the game just yet, I think I'll hold on to what I have. David, how do you feel about what you have? Did you want to get rid of anything at this point?
I don't have any reason to discard, so I'll hold on to them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess I would ask, since I didn't use any Scooby snacks, but the villain only gets 7, right? So do I lose 3?
Yeah, so you would, it says the very last one, if Oh, if you were the mystery player, you keep any unused ones.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, looks like you're keeping all 10 of yours because yeah, you don't pay for the location cards, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get to have 10 going into the next round, which is a kind of a cool benefit of that.
Not bad.
And then I'll be able to, as the turns passing back to me, then I'll be able to replenish mine up to 10. So I think that pretty much covers the turn, if I'm not mistaken. I did also want to point out that there is a mulligan option if in the beginning of the game, if a player does not draw a location card, which, well, David, you drew only location cards at the start of it.
Yeah, I had the opposite problem.
Yeah, but if you do not draw a location card, you may show your hand to your opponent. Oh, sorry, it looks like we lost your camera there temporarily. Okay, so if you do not draw a location card, you can opt to do a mulligan, and you can show your hand to your opponent, reshuffle, and draw 8 new cards. However, in doing so, the opponent will have the option to draw 1 additional card for every mulligan that takes place when you don't have a location card in your hand.
Interesting rule. I think we made an exception in this case.
Well,
because it was an indicator that my deck was just not shuffled.
Well, yeah, but you had all location cards. The mulligan only applies when you don't have any location cards in your hand. But so yeah, but since that was a first attempt, and we had that one is good. That one is easy to let slide. But mulligan rule applies going forward. Okay, so.
I'm not hip now, but is Madeline complimenting me or what?
Yeah, slay for David. Yes, that is a compliment to you. I'm not sure on what the.
Oh, geez, my adoring fan base there.
Yeah, she might have to clarify what that is because if anything, I'm getting the slay because I mean I was able to thwart your investigation. So, but yeah, maybe she can clarify on that. I know that the Gen Z lingo, I learn it. I'm learning it as I go as well. All right, so I think that pretty much covers the round. Hopefully, we covered everything. But again, this is the first attempt at this game, so we'll obviously refine our gameplay as we go. So we're gonna pass the turn over to me, and so I'll be the mystery investigated player. Or I'm sorry, I'll be the mystery incorporated player. David will be the villain player. I will replenish my pool of Scooby snacks up to 10, and I will draw up to 8 cards, of which I'll just need to add 1 more to my hand because I have 7 at this point. David, you will draw up to 8 cards if you haven't already, and you will you'll be able to apply all the Scooby snacks that you saved from the previous round.
Okay, well, I have 7, so I'll draw up to 8. Did I understand that correctly?
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent. So at this point, you'll turn it over to me, and I'll play the location card. And do note that unlike the X-Files CCG, you can only play 1 location card per turn, per round. I'm going to play the Sunken Ship, which is a master location with a fright level of 11. And I await any cards you have to counter that, David. Fire away.
Yeah. Well, great news. I am flush with Scooby snacks. So I am going to play the Ghost of Zen 2 Tao. That costs 5, so I'll take those out now. 2, 3, 4, 5, and that increases the fright level by 5. The game effect is after the Ghost of Zen 2 is put into play, you may play Chinese zombies at the same location for free. Now, I happen to have the Chinese zombies in my hand, and they add another 1 to the fright level. So I am boosting that. What was the fright level originally? 10?
It was 11. So
11.
And that increased the fright level to what?
It increases it by 6, so we're up to 17 on that fright level.
Oh, good Lord.
Come on, got some friends, got some items in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just considering what to do, because you threw quite a heavy punch there, and I have to say my team is quaking in their boots right about now.
That's a pretty steep fright level for sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty steep fright level for sure. Okay. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'll move all of my Mystery Incorporated agents to the sunken ship. And so that's going to count as an action. So now, David, do you have any further cards you want to play, or any further actions you want to do?
Interesting that you would move your team there, even in the face of all of that scariness.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to play out or not.
And and I think we talked about this earlier, maybe it was off camera, the Scooby snacks don't accumulate over turns. So at this point, I either play them or I lose them, kind of a thing, right?
You're going to be going in as the mystery player, so you're going to have 10 regardless.
I'll be at 10 regardless of what I have left over from this turn.
Correct.
So I may as well play another one. I'm going to play the Creeper. Cost 3. Now the Creeper, when the Creeper comes into play, you may take 2 Scooby snacks from your opponent. So you're going to be down 2 in your Scooby snack pile there.
All right. So that's going to take my Scooby snack pool down to 8.
And that increases the fright level by another 3. So we were at 17, now we're at 20.
Yeah.
Need a whole nother Mystery Incorporated team to beat that.
I'm going to now play the library for 2 Scooby snacks. And that's going to take my Scooby snack pool down to 6. And the library is going to allow me to draw the top 2 cards from my deck and add them to my hand.
Make sure to keep your hand up off the camera there. The X-Files ones, it's all just a blur to me, but these ones have these nice bright colors. So it's too distracting. I can't help but look. So make sure to keep me honest there.
I'm going to have to echo Jonathan's sentiment right there and say Zoinks, because a fright level of 20 is quite steep, and I'm not going to be able to take further actions, so I'm going to pass. And David, unless there's anything you want to do, I think we might be winding down to the end of the turn. Yes?
I have nothing else to play. No.
Okay, so the sunken ship is currently going to get assigned a failed stamp, and hopefully I'll have better luck in the next round. So let's head to the end of the turn, in which we can discard any cards we don't feel we want to have. And like clockwork, my cat has decided he wants to speak up and say hi to the viewers out there.
Well, we all know that cats are the unofficial mascot of all of our channels, so it's only fitting.
Yes, indeed. That is my cat, Seamus, who is saying hi to the folks out there. So, all right. Think you might be able to keep it down for the rest of the game, buddy?
In the interest of boosting my hand, I am going to discard one.
Okay.
It's a duplicate of Funland, so I'm just going to send that to the discard pile.
Excellent. And just like the X-Files CCG, you can only have 2 copies of every card in your hand. Or I'm sorry, you can only have 2 copies of any card in your play deck. Okay, so David, I think we are ready to pass it over to you. So you're going to get to have 10 Scooby snacks in your pool. I'm going to be relegated with the 6 that I have left over from this round as I take on the role of the villain player.
6 is still a good number. And I get to draw back up to 8, correct?
Yes, if you don't have 8, draw up to 8. And I have 8 in my hand, so I will, I'll be staying as it is. I won't be drawing any new cards at this point.
Let me just take...
Yeah, Jonathan Hay wants to know, does this game include cards from the Alien expansion? I unfortunately do not have cards from the Alien expansion in my deck. I do have a few boosters that I added to my play deck, but none of them are from the Alien expansion. So I haven't actually seen any of those out there, I don't think, at least on eBay. But if you do see any, Jonathan, do let me know, because I would be interested in acquiring some of those for a reasonable price.
And mine too is straight out of the starter decks. Nothing from the Alien expansion. I do have some cards that I purchased from the Alien expansion, so I do have a few of those. I'm just going to call it the Alien Investigation expansion. I don't care what the real name is.
I appreciate
so
that.
I have a few. As we play this game more, I'll be able to boost it up a little bit. I have not seen any still in the pack. If you see those, snap them up, because within this small Scooby-Doo ECG community, those are gold. But I've only seen them when someone is like liquidating their entire collection, and it's kind of a mix of everything. But like in notebook pockets, or in those binder pocket pages. I've never seen the Alien Investigation boosters in the wrappers. So if you find those, that's kind of the Lost Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail kind of a type thing there, that if you find that.
Excellent. I'm just deciding how I want to have my site set up on here. Okay, so I'll set my site right over there. I can still take a crack at investigating it in a subsequent round. Okay, David, so you are the Mystery Incorporated player at this point, and I am the villain player. So where, by chance, do you think you're going to be sending your team for this investigation?
We are going... We are going to, I'm going to play the location, the barn. This is a master location, and it has a fright level of 10. And I'll pass to you for any actions you want to take.
I'm going to play Rough for 1 Scooby snack. That is an event card in which I'll be able to decrease by 1 the bravery of any member of Mystery Incorporated until the commercial break. I don't know what the commercial break refers to. I believe that's referring to the end of the turn.
Oh, because I was going to say, enjoy a refreshing Diet Coke. The can's not going to show up.
Because you're just going to have to resolve for green screen in order to
I got it.
Cover product placement.
Okay, so I didn't get away with doing the commercial break. Yeah, I assume that's when we switch roles or something. But I'm sorry, the effect again was decrease a bravery level by what?
Decrease by 1 the bravery of any member of Mystery Incorporated until the commercial break, but I'm going to take that to mean the end of the turn.
Okay, which particular person are we talking about here?
Well, I think I'll be able to keep it in play till the end of this turn. So once you send your team to the site, then I'll be able to pick one.
You'll assign it. Okay.
Yeah, because right now you haven't sent anyone there, so I'll be able to do so. But just bearing in mind, though, that once you send them there, I'll be able to say that one of them is going to be losing a bravery level. They're going to have their bravery level increased, I guess, or it's a negative number, so I say increased or decreased. I don't know. I'll be able to decrease from the bravery level of 1 once you assign them to that location.
Okay.
So the total combined bravery of your 5 Mystery Incorporated members is 10, which would take that location down to 0, which is what you need. But at this point, it would be it would take it down to 1 with the rough card applied to one of them. So you have a little deficit to make up for there. Just a single deficit.
I do. I'm going to move everyone to the barn.
Okay. And I'll decrease the bravery of Shaggy by 1, so his bravery is exactly at 0.
Okay. Is that your action and then it passes back to me?
I guess so. It's kind of like part of the previous card, but yes, we'll treat it as 1. We'll treat it as having been done so.
Okay, so that leaves me with 9 total.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pay a Scooby snack to bring along Ebenezer Sharp.
Okay.
As a friend of the team.
And he's gonna add 1 right back to that, isn't he?
Ebenezer lowers the fright level of a location by 1. So instead of 10, it's 9. So as the team stands right now, I'm back right at 0.
Excellent. And that is, I think that about wraps it up because I don't have any other cards I'll be able to play at this point. So I'll send Ruff to the discard pile. And David, because that was it a master or a major location?
It is a master location.
Okay, so you're going to be able to remove 1 clue from the pile. So I guess it's okay to show us which clue you removed.
Oh, that goes upside down. Let's do this. Make sure it's only 1 there. It is Haunted House Hang Up.
Excellent. So you know that my hidden mystery card is not Haunted House Hang Up.
So I'm just going to mark a little X on my notepad here.
And so as you'll note, ladies and gentlemen, David flipped the location card over to indicate that it has been successfully investigated, meaning he may not revisit that particular location card again, but because it is a master or a major card, he will be able to potentially play a minor card on that one, because the minor cards are like a subset of that particular major or master card. And so now we'll head into the final stretch of this turn, in which we can discard any cards we don't want to continue with in the next round. And I think I'll part ways with the monster decoy card. What about you, David?
I'll keep everything as it stands for right now.
Excellent. How many Scooby snacks do you have at this point?
Well, that friend only cost me 1, so I'm at 9 right now.
Okay. And all right, we'll pass it over to me then, and I'll be the Mystery Incorporated player, and David will be the villain player. And because I have 6 cards in my hand, I'll draw 2 to bring my hand back up to 8. And I will replenish my pile of Scooby snacks to 10. David will be working with the 9 that he has from this previous round.
And again, Madeline is reminding you to keep your cards close to your chest.
Appreciate it. Okay, so for my first action, I'll play the greenhouse, which is a master location, and it has a fright level of 10.
Okay. Well, I am. Let's just do this now. I'm going to pay 3 Scooby snacks, not Scooby snacks, Scooby snacks, to play Dracula. Dracula raises the fright level of a location by 3 while in play. So your fright level will now be 13.
All right, so with that, I'll send all 5 of my team to the greenhouse. And so we currently have a total of, currently have a bravery level of -10, so that's going to take the fright level for the greenhouse down to 3. I'm going to play a friend card, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Oriental Art Dealer, for 3 Scooby snacks, and that'll take my Scooby snack pool down to 7. And 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 is the only friend that may be played for the rest of this turn. However, he does decrease the fright level by 3. So he matches Dracula in that it takes the fright level down to 0 at this point. What do you got, David?
I'm having flashes of X-Files here where you have all the right cards at the right time.
Well, I didn't in the previous round as the Mystery Incorporated player, so I wouldn't necessarily go that far.
At this point, I have nothing else. I will pass.
Thank you so much, and I will pass as well. And with that, we will wrap up this investigation. And because I was able to reduce the fright level to 0, I will be able to take away 1 clue card from this master because this was a master location. I'll be able to remove 1 clue card, and that is the haunted house hang-up. Wasn't that the one you just pulled as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting enough. Apparently, we didn't shuffle these as well, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Where's my pen? So I'll scratch off haunted house hang-up from my checklist, so we know it's not that one. I could opt to guess which mystery card David has there, but with 14 still remaining, that
You know you want to.
that would not be wise because yeah, he would get to remove another clue card from his. So I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't be wise in that. So I'm going to flip over the greenhouse location at this point because it has been successfully investigated. I'll send 𝐗 to the discard pile, and we'll head to the end of the turn and decide what we're going to part ways with. I think I feel okay with what I've got at this point, David. So I'll keep what I have. What about you?
I'm going to discard one. It is the master location, the big top. I'm going to put that in my discard pile. That leaves me with 4.
Okay.
Turn comes back to me.
Yes, and so I will be the villain, and I'll be working with 7 Scooby snacks, and you'll have your 10.
Replenish my Scooby snacks to 10.
And we'll draw up to 8 cards, so I'll be adding 2 more to my hand. So you currently have 1 location still in play at this point. So you could either revisit that one, or you could have the option of putting a different location down if you felt so inclined.
Yeah, I am going to play the big top. That is a master location, and the fright level is 10. I will turn to you, sir, for any cards.
I'm going to play the Snow Ghost for 5, and that's going to take my Scooby snack pool down to 2. The Snow Ghost, David, is going to raise the fright level of that location, or of a location, by 5 while in play.
5?
Yeah. He costs 5, he adds 5.
And that's a villain, right? Not a event or anything?
It's a villain, yep.
You know what? As a repeat of the first turn, I'm not even going to bother moving. I'm going to pass.
And we'll thus send the Snow Ghost to the discard pile. And which cards, if any, do you feel like parting ways with, David?
Quite a few of these are turds. Let's see here.
I'm going to also play... Well, actually, I want to play one more card, if you don't mind, before we get into the end of the turn.
Go for it.
I'm going to play the Jack in the Box on a location. And this is a card that I guess is going to be able to stay in play for later on, because it says I'll discard the Jack in the Box to raise the fright level of the location by 1 next turn. So I'll place that on the, what's the location we just investigated?
We were at the big top.
Okay, so I'm going to place the Jack in the Box on the big top so I'll be able to raise it the fright level of that by 1 the next turn whenever we come back to that.
And just for my own reference, I'm going to put this token on there to remind me.
Okay.
In case that plays into my strategy for next time.
And the Jack in the Box is an item card that costs 0 Scooby snacks, by the way. So I don't have to pay for that one. Okay, so end of the turn. I'm left with 6 cards in my hand. David, what about you?
Let's see, 3. I have 7.
Excellent. So pass it back to me, and I'll draw 2 cards to take my hand back up to 8, and I'll replenish my Scooby snack pool to 10. What about you?
I draw up to 8 too, right? Or do I have to live with?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
And then you're left with however many Scooby snacks you had in the previous round, which is how many?
Well, I was a shrewd player. You scared me off quite a bit there, so I didn't spend any Scooby snacks. I have all 10 going into this round.
Sounds good. So where are you heading? Or is it? No, it's my turn, right?
It's to you. I just played the big top, so you're the Mystery Incorporated right now.
Thank you kindly. So I'm going to set the Jack in the Box card over here for right now. I'm going to play the Hall of Mirrors, which is a... no, actually, I'm not going to play that one. Never mind. I'm going to play the Barn, which is a master location, and it has a fright level of 10.
Yeah, I don't have any. Well, at the risk of giving away what's going on here, I will pass.
Okay. I'll move all 5 Mystery Incorporated players to the Barn. And again, the Barn has a fright level of 10, and my team has a collective bravery of -10, so that currently takes it down to 0. So what action will you be taking at this point?
I have no action. I have to pass. Looks like you got it.
Awesome. So because that investigation was successful and the Barn is a master location, I'll be able to remove 1 clue card from the pile, and that is the Scooby-Doo and the Mummy 2. And that is going to take the remaining clues down to 13. All right. I will not be taking a guess as to your mystery card at this point, David. That would be very unwise of me.
Still a little early.
Yep. Let's see what I have here. Okay. I think we're ready to pass it over to you, right?
I believe so. I have 8, no discard and no draw, and I've already got 10 Scooby snacks in my pool. So
Sounds
I'm
good.
ready to get started if you are.
Yep, I've just placed the barn upside down to indicate that it was a successful investigation. I still have the Hall of Mirrors that has not been successfully investigated as of yet.
Okay.
And so I'll be going into this turn as the villain player with a total of 10 Scooby snacks. And I have 7 cards in my hand, so I'll draw 1 to bring it up to 8. What about you?
I'm ready to play a location.
Go for it.
Kind of filling up my space here, but Sunken Ship is a major location. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to have a different one out there. I have to play Graveyard of Ships first before I can play the Sunken Ship.
Oh, is it a minor card?
It is a major location, but it says here Graveyard of Ships in quotations. So I assume I have to have the Graveyard of Ships out first.
I think so. Yeah, I believe that's correct.
So we'll hold on to that for a little bit longer. And we're going to go back to, since Funland is already out here, I'm going to spend my action to move.
Well, I guess, yeah, you might be right. I thought you could play major or master. So let me just check. That was a major one? Yeah, it says you can play a master or major location as an action. You can only play a minor location after you have successfully investigated a matching master. So that's fine. Yeah, it's only the minor ones that you cannot play unless the corresponding major or master one's been investigated. So you're good.
Okay. Well, you know what? Then I if you'll allow it, I would like to go back and play that Sunken Ship.
All right. Yep.
So I'll move everybody back to the malt shop where they were originally and use my action to play Sunken Ship, and I will turn to you for any cards you would like to play.
I'm going to pass at this point, David.
Okay. Then my action will be to move all of, I'm just going to rearrange these a little bit so it makes a little more sense. I'm going to move all of Mystery Incorporated to the Sunken Ship.
Okay.
I did fail to mention this is a major location, so the fright level is 11.
Okay. So you're 1 shy at this point. I'm going to pass. So it goes right back to you.
Yep. And I am going to pay 1 Scooby snack to play There's Nothing to Be Afraid of. Play this card to lower the fright level at a location by 2 for the rest of the turn. So that makes the Sunken Ship 9.
Okay.
I will turn to you if you have anything to play.
I do have 1 card I'm going to play right now, and that is an event card called There Goes Our Only Clue, and that is going to cost me 4 Scooby snacks, so it's going to take my pool down to 6. And There Goes Our Only Clue is played to force your opponent to return a clue to the top of the clue pile.
I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to play this event. Haha, you missed me. Roo-rish me is in Scooby talk. It costs 2, so I'll take that out right now. Play this card to cancel the effect of an event card played by your opponent last action.
I believe this can. I'm going to counter that with this card called "We Got." It says "We got Shaggy and Scooby" for 2, and that's going to take my Scooby pile down to 4. And this is played on your villain phase, which I am at this point, to cancel a just played capture card or card effect.
Mm. All right, well, I have nothing to stop that.
So when all is said and done, you're going to have to add 1 clue card back to your pile. So even though you're going to successfully investigate this one, it's going to ultimately unearth the clue card you just put back on top of the pile.
Yeah, there's no gain from that.
No gain. Yeah.
Make sure that there's nothing I can do here. Nope. All right, so I successfully investigate the site, but I just reveal the same clue. So at least that one is upside down. So I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to put my 2 open investigations over here, my 2 completed ones over here, and I will reveal haunted house hang-up.
Seems like deja vu at this point, doesn't it?
It does.
I'm going to play one more card, David, and that is Jeweler's Glasses for 2 Scooby Snacks, and that's going to take my pool down to 2. I'm going to use the Jeweler's Glasses to look at my opponent's hand.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All of it, I assume.
All of it.
So I've got Underwater Passage. And since we're all new at the game, I'll just go ahead and read the effect so you know what's going on. It costs 0. Play on the sunken ship. You may discard this card to search your play deck for the lighthouse location, or play on the lighthouse. Discard to lower the fright level of the location by 1 for the rest of the turn. I also have Rope and Plank Bridge, also costs 0. Play on the chicken coop location. You may discard this card to search your play deck for the Hermit of the Hill Cave location, or play on Hermit of the Hill Cave, discard to lower the fright level by 1 for the rest of the turn. After that, I have a location. It's the barn again. So no tricks there. Costume tent, another location. That's a major location for 11. And then the last one in my hand is this event card. There's no one else on this island. Costs 3. Play this card to prevent any further friends from being played for the rest of the turn.
Okay, excellent. I'll send Jeweler's Glasses to the discard pile there. And we're coming to the end of the turn. Are you going to be parting ways with any of the cards in your hand?
Well, yes, but not in the way you're thinking. I am going to play Underwater Passage on the sunken ship. Since that's been investigated, I'm going to play that there. That's the one I was saying. Play on sunken ship. You may discard to search your play deck for the lighthouse location.
Okay.
So
and you're going to do that now, or when you discard it?
Well, I don't know. I assumed that if I played it, it would.
Oh, but you can only play one location per turn. So if you already played one, then I guess that counts towards that. So you'd have to wait to do it next time.
I'll have to wait until my next Mystery Incorporated
and how
turn
much did
for that.
How much did that item card cost?
That is 0.
Okay, cool. So I think that about wraps it up. I've got 5 cards remaining in my hand. Only 2 Scooby Snacks, but I'm going to get to replenish them. What about you?
I'm going to discard the barn. That seems like a duplicate. I want to freshen up my hand here. That leaves me with 3.
Okay.
So I'm going to draw. We're good to draw up to 8 then?
Yeah, let me just. I think I'm going to part ways with this card. Where's Scooby-Doo? I bet he's in the closet. I'm going to discard that one, so I have 4 left. Okay, so we're going to pass it over to me, and I'm going to draw 4 cards to get me back up to 8. I'm going to replenish my Scooby snack pool up to 10. Go for it, David. What are you drawing, and how many Scooby snacks do you have?
Well, I currently have 7, and I only had 3 in my hand, so I drew 5. So I'm back up to 8.
Okay. And you have how many Scooby snacks?
7.
Oh, that was the 7. I thought you meant 7 cards. Okay.
No, 7 Scooby snacks carry over.
Thank you. Sounds good. And I'm going to play the theater location, which is a master location with a fright level of 10. So I have that in my Hall of Mirrors. Any action you want to take at this point?
I am going to play the library for 2. You're familiar with this one. It lets me play this card to draw the top 2 cards from your play deck and add them to your hand. So I'll draw 2.
As a librarian, I am definitely a fan of that card.
That's your current favorite. Too bad they didn't make a foil of that one. I believe that counts as my play, so it's back to you, right?
It does. I'll send my entire team over to the theater, and again, that has a fright level of 10, and my team has a collective bravery of -10, so that takes it down to 0. What do you wish to do? What do you wish to play at this point, David?
Let's see. You said it's a fright level of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play. There's no one else on this island. It costs me 3. Play this card to prevent any further friends from being played for the rest of the turn. So no friends on your side.
No friends.
Back to you for any play.
None at this point. I'll currently pass, so you can try. You can play another card if you'd like.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to use Daphne's effect. Once per game, play any card from your hand for free if it is legally allowed to do so. I assume I can do that even though
you're the villain, provided it's a card that would be played while you are the villain, so that should be fine.
Okay, Frankenstein's monster.
Okay, tell me about that one.
Frankenstein's monster raises the fright level of a location by 3 while in play, sir.
And I'll use Velma's one-time effect to lower the fright level of a villain by 3. And so that's pretty much going to bring me right back to where I need to be at 0 for this location.
Yeah, I will have to pass.
And I'll pass as well. So we'll thus consider the investigation of the theater successful. And again, it is a master location, so I'll be able to remove 1 clue card from my pile, and that is Go Away, Go Ship. But there are still 12 remaining, David, so it's not wise of me, again, to ask an identity question of your mystery card, so I'll refrain from doing that. So I'll flip the location upside down because it's successful. Do you want to play any other cards?
I do not.
Okay, so we'll head into the end of the turn, and I'm going to discard 1 card, and that is, I've seen this before, so that's going to go in the discard pile. Are we ready to pass it over to you, or do you need to do any last minute things before so?
No, I like where I'm at, so no discard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I will be drawing 1. We're going back to me being Mystery Incorporated, right?
Yep.
Okay,
and
so
I currently have 6 cards, so I'll add 2 more to my hand. And my Scooby snack pool is currently at 10.
okay.
I didn't use any in that. Yeah, I didn't use any in that last turn, so I'm able to carry over what I have. And you have 7, so as a Mystery Incorporated player, you're going to get to replenish your pool up to 10.
Yep, I am up to 10. I have drawn my card up to
8.
The limit of 8.
Take your first action, my friend.
My first action is going to be to discard the underwater passage.
Mm-hmm.
You may discard this card to search your play deck for the lighthouse location. There is an or play on the lighthouse to discard to lower the fright level. I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to search for the lighthouse location, and there it is. I assume that gets added to my hand. It doesn't say anything about playing it or anything.
Yeah, but since you haven't played a location yet, you would be able to do so.
Looks like we're down by 1 viewer.
Madeline did say goodnight.
But Jonathan is still with us. He's a diehard. He's going to be here till the end.
Yep. Good man. Appreciate it, Jonathan. And for anyone who is also tuning in, feel free to drop any comments in the chat, and we'll be happy to engage in any discussion during the game.
Okay. Where was I? So it's still me, or did that count as one of my actions and now
That
you
counted
get
as
it?
one of your actions, I believe. But I'll pass at this point, so you can go ahead and do another action if you'd like.
Okay. Let's see here. Just some quick math in my head here. Mm-hmm. Why not? Let's play. Oh, no. Let's play. The costume tent. This is a major location. So the fright level is 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll turn to you for any actions you want to take.
No actions as of yet.
Okay. I will move all 5 to the costume tent. Anything from you, sir?
Mm-hmm. I'll use my Jack-in-the-Box. Or wait, is the Jack-in-the-Box, like, I guess, is it stuck on that site? The other...
I thought it was assigned to the big top.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's right. It's not one of those I can just, like, a resource I can have just in play. No problem. I'll play... Okay, let me read this one real quick. I don't know how that one's going to play out. So all your team is at which location?
At the costume tent. The fright level is 11.
Okay. I'll play Eyes in the Cave for 0 on the costume tent to add 1 to the fright level for the rest of the turn. Okay. So that will bring it up to 12.
12. First thing I'm going to do here is pay 4 to play the mystery machine. The mystery machine is an item. It says the mystery machine lowers the fright level of a location by 1 while in play. You do not have to discard to use this effect. The mystery machine counts as a member of Mystery Incorporated for movement purposes. So this will become part of my team after the investigation is done.
Okay.
So that lowers it to, I'm sorry, 10, but yours adds
1. Well, your location, yeah.
I'm sorry, it reduces it to 10, but you add 1. So I'm still at 11. Do you have anything else you would like to play?
I'll pass currently because you still have a deficit to make up for.
I do.
I guess it would be a surplus, actually.
A surplus of fear, as you might say. In that case, I'm going to bring in the mystery machine, Mr. Carswell. That costs 2 Scooby snacks, so I'll take that right now. Mr. Carswell lowers the fright level of a location by 2 while in play. So that takes the costume tent down to 9. And then the mystery machine takes it to 8, and then your 1 makes it back to 9 again. So right now I am ahead by 1.
You're ahead by 1. Okay. Can you include your team's -10 into that? Okay, gotcha. I'm going to play There's Nothing to Be Afraid of for 1 Scooby snack to... Oh, wait. Well, no, sorry. Never mind. That was the wrong one. Okay. This one is weird.
Then you shouldn't play it if it's weird.
Well, maybe we can talk it out because I don't know exactly what it means. So, Funhouse Mirror item card, play on a location, discard to auction the right to raise or lower the fright level of the location by, you can raise it by 2 or lower it by 2. The winner pays the winning bid in Scooby snacks.
Okay. I think I get it. How many Scooby snacks do you have?
I have 10.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That
I'll
cost
pay.
0 as well. So yeah.
I would pay 4.
And I would pay 5.
Okay, pay your 5.
All right.
And you'll lower it by how much?
2. Or I'll raise your fright level by 2.
Okay. So that's, I was at -1, so that puts me at 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I am going to, oh, you don't have any monsters on the field, do you? It's just effect and item cards?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will pay 1, and me and Mr. Carswell are going to go on the yacht. Play yacht on a location, discard to lower the fright level by 1. So I'm just going to discard that right now. So I'm back to 0. Anything else, my man?
I'll pass.
Oh, fuck. Whew. Okay.
Bravo.
Yeah, now that we're getting deep into our decks, we're finding some good cards to play. So that means I successfully investigated the site. It is a major location, which means I get to reveal 2 clue cards.
Well done.
I will do that now. First is Go Away Ghost Ship. Isn't that the one you just did?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And Mind Your Own Business. So I've eliminated 3. Refresh my memory. You've eliminated 3? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Mr. Carswell goes away.
Are you gonna take a guess?
Oh, no. I will not be taking a guess. I'll turn that location upside down, and I've been moving my Mystery Incorporated guys back to the malt shop if they successfully do a site.
I think it's 1 movement. It's kind of like they stay in the field in X-Files CCG. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then they are still in the costume tent. The mystery machine stays with them.
I think, David, since we're tied, and like if you guess and get it wrong, and then I would just be able to remove a clue card. So
You didn't sell me. I'm not going to do it.
I was just gonna say, like, I think it would just make it like 1-to-1, right? So
It would, but
well,
you're a shrewd player, and I don't want to.
well, like you would be just taking a guess, like a shot in the dark, right?
Right.
So I'm just at the mercy of being able to only just pull the next one from the pile. So
Well, but then if I guess one and eliminate it, if I pull it, if I flip it from this deck, then
that is true.
it would be a waste.
Like later on, if it comes up, then yeah. So I guess that's the downside to taking a guess at this point. But I was just figured, since we're even at this point, I didn't know if that would appeal to you at all.
It does not appeal to me. Nice.
All right.
You did not sell me on that one.
Okay. So at this point, I've got 6 cards in my hand, and I think I'm going to hold on to all of them right now.
Before we switch turns,
Yeah.
I am going to play the elephant. This is 0 Scooby Snacks. It's an item. Play on the costume tent. You may discard this card to search your play deck for the menagerie location, or play on the menagerie, discard to lower the fright level of the location by 1. So I'm just going to attach that to the costume tent for a later action.
Okay.
And with that, I am at 4, and I kind of like these cards, so I'm going to hold on to that.
Okay. And so we'll turn it over to me. I'll be the Mystery Incorporated player, and I'll take 2 cards from the top of my deck to bring my hand up to 8, and I'll replenish my Scooby Snack pool to 10. Go for it, David.
All right. I'm currently at 3 Scooby Snacks. I'll hold over from mine. I have 4 in my hand, so I'm going to draw another 4 here.
3 is not much to work with.
It is not.
Okay. For this turn, I'm going to play the Mad Scientist Rumpus Room, which is a major location with a fright level of 11.
Excuse me. I will pass.
I'll send the entire team to the Mad Scientist Rumpus Room. And yeah, again, it has a fright level of 11, but my team currently has only -10 to apply to that. Over to you.
Surely you have something up your sleeve.
Surely.
Let me see what I can do about that. I'm going to play Shadow Phantom for 2. The Shadow Phantom raises the fright level of a location by +2 while in play. So that takes you up to 13. And back to you, sir.
I will use Shaggy's one-time game effect to take 3 additional Scooby Snacks. So that's going to take my Scooby Snack pool up to 13. What about you?
No play. Pass.
Okay. I'll use Scooby's one-time effect to pull any item from my deck once during the game. Okay. And it doesn't say like if I show it to you, but I'm going to go ahead and play that one item card that I pulled, which is Tapestry, and I'm going to play that on the Mad Scientist Rumpus Room, and I'm going to discard that to capture a monster, and that's going to cost me 3, so that takes my Scooby snack pool down to 10, and so I'll take away that villain. I'll capture it, as it were, and capturing is defined as placing an opponent's monster in the discard pile.
All right.
What else you got?
What else you got? I got nothing.
I still currently have a deficit to make up for, so I'm going to pay 1 Scooby snack to play Ebenezer Sharp, and you played him earlier, so you know that he lowers the fright level of a location by 1 while in play. So that does take the fright level for the Mad Scientist Rumpus Room down to 0.
Unfortunately, I have to pass.
Excellent. And thanks to the help of Ebenezer Sharp, I will be able to I'll be able to draw 2 clue cards from the pile because this was a major location. I'm going to flip that one upside down as well. Yeah, these cards really do take up a lot of real estate on the mat.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Oh, well, with us playing all these locations.
Yep. So the 2 clue cards that I pulled up are Bedlam in the Big Top and the Backstage Rage. I'm going to go ahead and take a guess.
Really? Okay.
Yep. David, is your mystery card a clue for Scooby-Doo?
It is not.
Excellent. So I'll scratch that one off.
And that means I get to reveal one as well, correct?
Yeah, you get to remove one from that.
A clue for Scooby-Doo.
Go figure. Well, granted, there's only 15, so what do you expect? All right, so looking at my hand, I've got 6 cards remaining. I've got 9 Scooby snacks in my pool. I'm gonna discard Long Twisting Stairs. What about you?
I'm going to discard Rope and Plank Bridge. It's another one. It's the one that's play on the chicken coop location.
Okay.
Discard the search your play deck for Hermit of the Hill Cave location.
All right. I think we're ready to pass it back to you. So you're the Mystery Incorporated player. I'm the villain. And I have 9 Scooby snacks to carry over. I'm going to draw 3 cards to add to my hand to take it back up to 8. What about you?
Okay, I am replenished back to 10, and I have 6 in my hand, so I'll draw 2.
All yours.
Interesting. All right, I am going to play the Menagerie. This is a minor location. Must be played on a big top location.
Yep.
And that is the costume tent. It says major location, the big top. So I assume that means that I can play it on that one.
Mm-hmm. And that's 12 is this fright level?
12 is the fright level, correct. And all of my team is still here, so no need to move them or anything. Turn to you for any play.
I'm going to play Ghost Soup for 3 Scooby snacks to force my opponent to lose 3 Scooby snacks.
Okay.
How much does that leave you with? 7?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And you as well, correct?
6, actually.
6. I am going to I have a feeling I'm going to need these. So I'm going to play Shaggy's one-time game effect. Once per game, Shaggy allows you to take 3 additional Scooby snacks. So I'm going to get those 3 back. And then, that turns it back to you for play, correct?
Yes, it does.
Go ahead. Jonathan, are you still there? What are you thinking about this game? Are you liking it?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and ask the question. Sorry.
Oh, that was it. I was just asking what he thought of the game.
I'm going to play Man's Best Friend for 3, and that's going to take my Scooby snack pool down to 3. I'm going to play during my villain turn. Scooby-Doo becomes a +1 friend for the rest of the turn. Or friend. So I think that a +1 friend. So that would mean his bravery becomes +1 instead of -2.
That's how I would read that. Yeah, it kind of turns him against me here.
Because friend is a good thing, But it's man's best friend is a mouse. But that's the way I'm reading it. Yeah, I play during the villain turn, so his -2 becomes +1 for the rest of this turn.
Well, I'm gonna pay 3 to also play Ghost Soup.
Okay, so I lose 3.
That takes you down to 0, is that correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So I need to do some quick math here. Scooby-Doo is +1, so the printed fright is 12. That makes it 13.
Mhm.
12, 11, 8, 5, 4. Boy, I am not even close. How did that even happen?
Yeah, this card basically took away 3 from your bravery.
Yeah. I think at this point, I'm just going to have to cut bait. Shoot.
Nothing?
No, I'm going to have to pass.
Yeah, it's a shame Scooby turned into a mouse at exactly the wrong point. All right, so that's going to leave me with 6 cards in my hand. And I have no Scooby snacks remaining, but I'm about to replenish all of them as we head into the next one. What about you?
Let me take a look here. I'm going to keep... Yeah, I'm going to discard Lighthouse. That takes me down to 5 cards.
Okay. And we'll turn it over to me. So I'll take my 10 Scooby snacks and I'll draw 2 cards to take my hand back up to 8. What are you doing?
I have 5 in my hand, so I'll draw 3.
And how many Scooby snacks do you have?
I have 7 to carry over.
For this turn, I'm going to put down the Sunken Ship, which is a major location, so fright level of 11. Action or pass?
I will pass for now.
I'm going to play I Have a Hunch for 2 Scooby snacks. So that takes it down to 8. I'm going to name a card. And I'm going to look at the top 3 cards of your deck. If the name card is there, discard it. And then return the others to the top of the deck in any order. Let's say Ghost Soup.
Okay. I have Hall of Mirrors location.
Mm-hmm.
We got Shags and Scooby, which is a event. And then another location, Graveyard of Ships.
Okay, and what does the event do?
The event, play on your villain phase to cancel a just played capture card or card effect.
Okay.
And it costs 2.
So put that one on top.
Okay.
And then the other 2, I don't care which order.
Okay. Done.
Over to you.
Pass. I need to see what you're going to do here.
I'm going to send the entire team over to the Sunken Ship So they have a collective -10 bravery, so I will have a 1 surplus to make up for.
Okay. How many Scooby snacks do you have, sir?
8.
Well, I'm hoping this will do something. Fortunately, I had ghost soup already in my hand.
Hmm.
So I'm going to pay 3 to cause you to lose 3.
Okay. Leaving me with 5. All right. I will play. There's nothing to be afraid of for 1 Scooby snack, and that's going to allow me to lower the fright level at a location for the rest of the turn by 2. So that takes the fright level of the sunken ship down to -1.
Mm. I will pass.
Okay, so it sounds like this one we're shooing for this investigation, right?
You're good to go.
Excellent. And so because that was a major location, I'm going to get to take away 2 from that. And so that removes a clue for Scooby-Doo, which is the one I had previously guessed at in the previous one, and decoy for a doppelganger, and decoy for a dog napper. I'm gonna take another guess, David.
Okay.
Is your mystery card mystery mask? Is your mystery card mystery mask mix-up?
It is not.
All right. One more gets to go from yours.
Okay. Decoy for a dog napper.
Okay. And I'm currently looking at 5 cards in my hand and 4 Scooby snacks. I'm gonna hold on to the cards in my hand. What about you?
I'll discard 1. It's Hall of Mirrors, a location there. That leaves me with 6.
Okay. And so now you're going to be the Mystery Incorporated player, and I'll be the villain. Since I only have 5, I'm going to pick up 3 cards from my play deck, and I'm only going to be working with 4 Scooby snacks.
Okay. I have 6 in my hand, so I'll draw 2, and I've already replenished my Scooby snacks back to 10. Okay. And it's my go?
Yep.
All right. I am currently I think I'm going to move everyone to Funland.
Major or master?
That is a master. So the fright level is 10. That's the printed cost, but with the mystery machine, that lowers the fright level of a location by 1. So it is 9.
And that stays with your team until when?
The mystery machine counts as a member of Mystery Incorporated for movement purposes. So I assume it stays with me because it says you do not have to discard to use the effect. So I assume it becomes a member of Mystery Incorporated and moves with them.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds about right.
It's my wheels.
So it takes away 1 from the fright level?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to use Daphne's one-time effect to play any card from my hand for free if legally allowed to do so. And I don't know if that counts as an action, but it seems like I would also play the card then. Seems like it would go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to play the Frankenstein's monster for free, courtesy of Daphne's effect, which is going to raise the fright level of the location by 3 while in play.
Okay.
So I guess that takes the fright level currently to 2, right, for this location?
You would be correct. But I'm going to use Velma's one-time effect. Once per game, you may lower the fright level of a villain by 3.
Okay. So, yeah. So it pretty much takes him to 0, but he's still there. And I guess I can send him to the discard. Well, it's not a capture, but I'll leave it there until the end of the turn.
There may be a card that lets you play him.
Yeah.
Or do something with it. Or a card that negates...
Well, it's not necessarily... well, I don't know. Does that... Please card to negate the effect... No, I don't think that applies. Okay, I'm gonna play Girl Dog Puppet for 2 Scooby Snacks, which is gonna raise the fright level of a location by 1 for the rest of the turn. If Dog Girl Puppet is discarded with a card effect, Scooby at the same location is going to be moved to the malt shop.
Son of a gun. That's a villain card, right?
It's an item
monster.
Card, actually. No, it's an item. So it's kind of one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess.
Okay, well, I don't have anything to stop it, so Scooby goes to the malt shop. Is that correct?
Only if you discard this card with a card effect, but otherwise it's going to be discarded at the end of the turn. So as long as you don't play a card that forces me to discard it, I think Scooby gets to stay.
Okay.
Yeah, because it says if Dog Girl Puppet is discarded with a card effect, Scooby-Doo at that same location is moved to the malt shop.
Okay, gotcha. So it's there whether I like it, unless I do something, but then I lose Scooby.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if my math is correct, I'm still successfully investigating this site.
You are? I thought this adds 1 to the fright level, though. Did that?
Okay, so the mystery machine takes it down to 9.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the Scooby Gang makes it 10. And I've already negated the 3 from your monster.
Yeah, that does. And shoot, I don't have anything to... Yeah, I can't do anything else about that. So, yep. Yeah, that was not a wise move on my part. So, yep. All good on your part, David.
All right.
Because that was that was a major one. So that was 10. So, yeah. If it had been a or no, that was a master location, right?
It was a master, so one card.
If you
Yeah.
made it for 11, then you'd be in trouble. So okay.
All right, so I will reveal Foul Play in Funland.
Okay.
And I am going to take a guess here because this game is taking a lot longer than
Yes,
I thought this game would.
Hence why I was trying to entice you earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're doing now. I follow you. Is your mystery card Scooby-Doo and a Mummy too?
And that, my friends, is the game. David Peace, you have won this first foray into the Scooby-Doo expandable card or expandable. You have won in this first foray of the Scooby-Doo expandable card game. I congratulate you, my friend. It would appear this is definitely your game.
Well, I kind of lucked into that one, but it's kind of cool. Like I said, there's a nostalgia to it. I liked playing the Mystery Machine, the van to come around with me. That was kind of fun. And I know there's another card, I think from the Alien Investigation expansion, that gives you 2 mystery machines or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that one? Yeah. So
you're correct on that front. And yeah, it would be cool to get our hands on some of those cards too to incorporate into the expansion. I got to say, like, yeah, I wasn't having a whole, unlike when I take identity questions with X-Files CCG, I tend to have a little bit of better luck. So I still had about 7 possibilities remaining of your mystery card. So what was it?
Oh, it was Foul Play in Funland.
Foul Play in Funland. All right. Well done on that front, my friend.
Great. So after all is said and done, what is your assessment of this game?
Yeah, I really thought it being a watered down version of the X-Files CCG, I thought it was going to be one that moved at a faster pace and resolved a lot faster. But given that each successful investigation can result in only like 1, 2, or 3 clue cards getting removed at a time, and usually it's going to be 1 or 2 just to start off with, because those minor cards are going to have to wait for the right card to come up. You are looking at quite a few rounds or quite a few turns being performed in order to get to the heart of solving the mystery card. So in effect, it does take quite a bit of time. There's a bit of back and forth, but I think but this first foray being that, we are going into it a little unsure and trying to find or try to get a footing on the mechanics and the fluid of each turn. It did go slow, so it's just a matter of refining our and raising our comfort level with the game so that we can probably move through the actions a lot faster, I think, in future games.
And I think as our collections grow and our decks become a little more focused, you might see there wouldn't be nearly as much ramp up time getting those major locations out there so you can play the minor ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 1 or 2 more plays and we'll have this down to a fairly quick game. Jonathan really hit the nail on the head. It seems fun in the same way, the X-Files, but with less math. So I like it already.
Yeah, although I think Mike Green will sweat it a little bit when having to apply the negative modifiers to the fright level. It is interesting to see how we're going to be able to send the team, like if you spread out the team, like in order to be able to use Fred's effect, his was the only effect I wasn't able to use, but sending him to one location obviously means there's a lot to make up for when he goes solo. But even if you send the rest of the team to another location, you're going in with a 3 shortage and a -3 shortage to that. So you're going to have to be able to successfully do that one and then move everyone over to Fred's location, that you have to go in with a decent friend. Although I guess the A Fong friend would have worked in that particular round, provided you didn't play any cards on me. at that point. There are going to be some cards that are going to require some talking through, because there were some that I was looking through that did raise a question in my mind. For instance, here's a foil one that came in a booster pack. I wanted to run by you because this one is really weird. So it's called Running Dog and Colonel Shaggy, which costs 4. And it can apply a -4 to the fright level. Card effect may only be played by the card owner. So I don't know, maybe that applies to situations where you might be able to steal a card from my deck or something like that.
And
yeah, card effect may only be played by card owner. But that's just the first part of it. So again, I think that maybe it would apply to situations where you might steal a card from my deck. I would have to imagine. Otherwise, I don't know what they're.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I'd have to look through the collection to see if there's a card that kind of pulls along with that.
Oh, but brace yourself, because there's more to this card. If you tear this card in half, it now counts as 2 -2 friends instead of 1 -4.
It sounds like they were just
card in half.
They were just trying to be silly, I think, with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would actually rip the card in half like that. That's it's a foil card for one, so I have to imagine there's not too many of those.
Yeah, I remember an interview on a podcast called The Booster Pack that had I can't remember the gentleman's name. Brian Woodward was being interviewed, and he talked about 2 promo cards that were near impossible to find and practically unplayable. I'll be darned if I remember them off the top of my head, but one of them was about a woodchuck, and the other was yeah, of course, now that I bring it up, it escapes me, but those were also cards that were just kind of too silly to be worth anything, and they were just kind of out there to kind of for fun. So maybe that's something they were doing. They're just trying to kind of be silly about it. But did you say that's a foil card? Oh no, that's a different one.
It is a foil card. I got it in a booster pack. And actually, Jonathan, you asked earlier if we had any alien expansion cards in our decks. This is interesting. David, if you look in the lower left corner of each of the cards, it says first on it, right? You have to look really hard.
Yeah, I can't really see much right now, but
right
there she is.
Yeah.
She's hungry, so she's batting at all of my cards and
being a bit right obnoxious. Down here, just in this little corner, you're going to see a symbol that says first.
Yeah, I see that from those are, yeah, I see that.
So you're going to find that on pretty much all the cards that you pull. If you look at the yellow one, maybe it's a little easier to spot.
Yeah, I see it down here. I've got my collection here.
Yeah.
So maybe what I'll do is, I know I've got a few alien investigation.
You have some alien foils? Okay.
Well, not foils, but
well, not foils, but alien expansion cards. Because tell me, what is the symbol on one of those alien expansion ones? What does it look like? Because this symbol is different. It kind of looks like a UFO.
See if we can get that to focus.
Yeah, I think that's a UFO. And so I guess I take it back. I did actually have one alien expansion card in this because, that's exactly what I have on this foil card here. So this is.
Damn it, Steven.
Well, I didn't know because it's really hard to see. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the. Oh no, I take it back. There's more. Yeah, so I guess one of the booster packs that I opened was alien expansion because it says he wins. Let's go, man. Yep, that's an alien expansion one right there. Yep, I do have some alien expansion ones in here. So I do take it back, Jonathan. I do have some in this. So I guess they come. The alien expansion ones come in the booster packs.
Are you sure maybe Mike didn't pass that along to you? Slip it in there?
Yeah, I guess so. Yep. So I do take it back. I was working with Alien Expansion, I'm afraid. So interesting. The other thing there was something else I was going to point out. Forgot what it was. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank. I had another thought. Don't
leave me hanging.
While I'm mulling that over, because I did have a thought, but then I got distracted in the course of trying to determine whether I had the Alien Expansion ones. So, what are your thoughts on the game, David?
I liked it. It's definitely shades of X-Files, but like Jonathan said in the comments, it's not quite as complicated, which appeals to me personally. I liked it, and I enjoyed making the playmat and playing on it and seeing your creativity as well. So I'd definitely be up to play this again. I think it's a fun game. Why not? And like I said, with a little more targeted deck rather than just playing straight out of the starter kit, it might make it a lot easier to get those 12 fright level cards and be able to dig them out of your deck. So who knows what'll happen.
I do want to point out that the booklet that comes with the starter deck does help, give a little bit of advice for building your play deck. It recommends like 18 to 20 locations, 8 to 10 monsters, 8 to 10 items, 6 to 8 friends, and 12 to 16 events for I believe that would be something in the neighborhood of a 60 card deck, which is the minimum amount for a play deck. So food for thought. Yeah, definitely check the rule book when you're playing the game for the first time round. Much like the X-Files CCG, it does have that golden rule where anytime a card or card effect contradicts the rules, the card effect is correct. In that case, it trumps the normal rules for the game.
That's kind of the golden rule of CCGs, I think. It gives the designers a little more freedom so they don't get boxed in after 2 or 3 expansions.
Oh, yeah. I did have another question about one particular aspect that's mentioned in the rulebook. The rulebook mentions Darkness card, which says it's a special group of powerful event cards. Is there something like a symbol or something that denotes the Darkness card?
Even with my big purchase, I only saw a couple of Darkness cards because my purchase was kind of random. I just kind of picked up whatever Mike sent me, and I do remember keeping an eye out for Darkness cards. Let me see if I can find one really quick. But I don't remember if there was something about the card. I'm sure it says on it somewhere, but I don't think it had like a different color.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Give me an example.
So this is first edition. And let me see if I can get it up here.
What's that one called?
This one is called "The Lights Are Going Off All Over."
Okay.
And it says right up at the top there, you can see right at the beginning of the game effect.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It says Darkness card right off the bat.
All right.
And the effect, we'll see if it's more powerful than anything. Pull the top card from your play deck. The fright level is raised by the Scooby snack cost on the pulled card. Not too bad, I guess.
Going through and seeing how many. I'm not seeing too many of those, and it seems it's limited to the event cards only. That was, huh. I just went through all of mine and I didn't see a single one, but that you just used the base starter, so I should have at least one in there.
Well, like I said, my collection includes some alien and
Okay.
a bunch of boosters. I don't remember the number. I want to say it was around 200 or so that Mike sent me, and it was kind of a just kind of a hodgepodge of all kinds of stuff that he had. Here's another one, again from first edition. Man, this is like dark in the tunnel. In this tunnel, I suppose I could read it with a little more, once more with feeling. Man, this is like dark in this tunnel. That doesn't even sound like him, but darkness card. Play this card on a location. If successful at this location, subtract 1 from the number of clues opponents is allowed to draw.
Okay. Now
that could come in handy.
My only other comment that I want to make on the game is one thing I like is what I like about the X-Files CCG cards is that it includes a little notation on each card letting you know which episode the image and the quote are pulled from. However, that's not the case on the Scooby-Doo cards. So if I were to edit this episode at a later time and I want to use clips from the episodes in my edited version, I would have a hard time pulling them because I don't quite have a extended knowledge of the Scooby-Doo episodes like I do for the X-Files.
Well,
so that
it certainly would take the designers back to the good old days of sitting in a dark room, just grabbing screenshots from bad VHS copies.
Yeah, and I don't think 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 relishes the idea of having to pull these clips for me either, but I'll thank him in advance. But it's going to be a long time before I get around to editing this episode in any event. But I might have to forego pulling clips from the show to put into my episodes whenever I get around to editing this. So yes, I'm very happy we finally got a chance to dig into this game. It was a lot of fun, David, and I know you've been itching to do a game on your own channel, which for anyone who doesn't know, that's Studio Sequim. So do check that out for more related content like this. If you want to try out a game of this on your channel, do let me know, because I would like to give these cards another go at some point.
Yeah, and I think we both have a handle on it, so we could definitely see some more advanced cards and some trickier gameplay and stuff, and we'll be able to go a lot faster. So I'm definitely up for it.
Me too. And so yeah, let's do that at some point.
My question is, how did you get your rule book to stay in one piece? That's incredible.
I can't actually attest to it. It is not in one piece. The rule book I'm not a fan of, because that thing falls apart as you are trying to go through and commit the rules and the mechanics to your head. It does have a lot of checklists on it, which you probably would wind up separating anyway. But yeah, the rules are just falling apart, unfortunately, because it just had a little bit of adhesive to hold it together. So I don't know, maybe at some point I might draw up some larger printout of the rules or something, or maybe if they're on a website we can use instead. But yeah, I don't want to have to keep pulling the rule books out, because it's really kind of a pain keeping them together. So
well, you did grace us with these really great cheat sheets, which I did refer to while we were playing, so that was a big help for me.
Yeah, and you'll notice the colors of the background of the pages kind of sort of match the the
Match
starter
the
box.
box,
That's what I
yeah.
was going for, and I'll probably add more to that second page just to kind of help us out a little bit. But I hope you found that helpful. I was just trying to. I have them situated right here in front of me to kind of sort of keep track of what actions we can do depending on whether we're the mystery incorporated or we're the villain player. But yeah. There's a bit of a refinement that will come when we play more games of this going forward, and so those tuning in will hopefully see you'll hopefully see some faster games and faster turnaround, and they may not take as long as X-Files CCG eventually once we've had a few more chances to refine our skills with the game.
And
But
I gotta know, is Jonathan still out there? Do we
He
still
might
have a
be.
viewer?
Yeah.
I'm curious, he was trolling eBay while we were playing. I wondered if he already found his 2-player starter kit or not. Jonathan, if you're out there, I know we're winding it down here, but if you're still there, let me know if you found one. There, oh yeah, see, he found it. So
Excellent.
we definitely have, between the two of us, Madeline and Jonathan, we're definitely going to get some more games in here. We'll get those foil cards out on the table as many times as we can.
Good deal. So let's see. Since we're coming up on the weekend, I don't know if there's going to be a game happening on this channel or any of my brother channels at this point. Nathan did throw out the idea of doing a game instead of our community meeting as initially planned, so that's been postponed till January. So we might see a game this weekend. I don't yet know who's playing or on what channel. So if you are wanting to stay abreast of what's happening in the world of X-Files CCG, I do recommend checking out our Discord community, which you can find a link to in the description for all of my videos. It's not yet in this one because I just made this recording today, so I'll post it later on. But check out any of the previous episodes on Alien Investigations to find that link to the Discord channel where you can stay up to date on everything that's happening and where we're planning our future games and what other things we have in the works with regards to the expansions. And of course, that's where we trade and sell cards to help others build their decks. And so I'm going to plug David's channel once more. That's Studio Sequim. Check that one out because there's a lot of X-Files CCG games that are found on there, but David also branches out into other games as well. Check out Chasing the Dragon Chasing the Dragon, hosted by Nathan, who also dabbles in a lot of games, but most especially X-Files CCG. And I do believe he's working on posting an episode or two in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, please, if you liked this video and you are a fan of this game and or more especially the X-Files Collectible Card Game, do hit that subscribe button and do stay tuned because I'm going to be doing some giveaways in the next couple of episodes. We have, of course, the signed Langley card, which there's going to be a drawing in the next episode, which I believe is going to be going live on Tuesday, in which I should be throwing down with Mike Perrine of Matt Mike's X-Files CCG. David, I'm hoping you're going to be available to do the drawing for those who answered correctly the trivia question from episode 24. So if you answered correctly, your name's going to be entered into a drawing for that matchup, which will take place at the end of it. I believe there's about 7 people who responded to the trivia question. So I'll say right now, all of you answered it correctly. So you will all have your names entered into that drawing for a chance to win a signed Langley card autographed by Dean Haglin. But also stay tuned. Those of you who didn't have a chance to take part in that contest, do stay tuned because pretty soon I'm going to be doing I'm going to be offering up a Deny Everything promo, a very hard to find promo to one lucky winner. The specifics of that are forthcoming, but I do recommend subscribing so that you can stay up to date on all those future contests and giveaways that are happening on the channel. And so, David, we're coming up on midnight on my end. Any final thoughts before we call it a night?
Nothing that hasn't already been said. Thanks for a really great game. I enjoyed it. I was glad to get this out on the table. It's as much fun as I thought it would be. So thank you very much for having me.
Excellent. And like I said, we'll do it again in the future. So I do want to thank everyone for watching. And David, I want to once again thank you for availing yourself. And I'll see you again. I'll see you again in a later matchup, my friend. And for all those of you who are watching, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And please be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Alien Investigations.
Good night.